Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jaya Mudiraye. Nashta Prayeshu Abhareshu Nityam Bhagavati Sevaya Bhagavati Uttamasloke Bhakti Bhavati Nastike. Hare Krishna. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Today we will be reading from Canto 10, Chapter 33, the Rasa Dance, text 1 through 13. Text 1. Sukadev Goswami said, when the cowherd girls heard the Supreme Personality of Godhead speak these most charming words, they forgot their distress caused by separation from him. Touching his transcendental limbs, they felt all their desires fulfilled. Text 2. There on the Yamuna's banks, Lord Govinda then began the pastime of the Rasa dance in the company of those jewels among women, the faithful gopis who joyfully linked their arms together. Text 3. The festive Rasa dance commenced, and the gopis arrayed in a circle. Lord Krishna expanded himself and entered between each pair of gopis, and as that master of mystic power placed his arms around their necks, each girl thought he was standing next to her alone. The demigods and their wives were overwhelmed with eagerness to witness the Rasa dance, and they soon crowded the sky with their hundreds of celestial airplanes. Text 4. Kettle drums then resounded in the sky while flowers rained down, and the chief Gandharvas and their wives sang Lord Krishna's spotless glories. Text 5. A tumultuous sound arose from the armlets, anchor bells, and waist bells of the gopis as they sported with their beloved Krishna in the circle of the Rasa dance. Text 6. In the midst of the dancing gopis, Lord Krishna appeared most brilliant, like an exquisite sapphire in the midst of golden ornaments. Text 7. As the gopis sang in praise of Krishna, their feet danced, their hands gestured, and their eyebrows moved with playful smiles. With their braids and bells tied tight, their waists bending, their faces perspiring, the garments on their breasts moving this way and that, and their earrings swinging on their cheeks, Lord Krishna's young consorts shone like streaks of lightning in a mass of clouds. Text 8. Eager to enjoy conjugal love, their throats colored with various pigments, the gopis sang loudly and danced. They were overjoyed by Krishna's touch, and they sang songs that filled the entire universe. Text 9. One gopi, joining Lord Mukunda in his singing, sang pure melodious tones that rose harmoniously above his. Krishna was pleased and showed great appreciation for her performance, saying, "Excellent, excellent." Then another gopi repeated the same melody, but in a special metrical pattern, and Krishna praised her also. Text 10. When one gopi grew tired from the rasa dance, she turned to Krishna, standing at her side holding a baton, and grasped his shoulder with her arm. The dancing had loosened her bracelets and the flowers in her hair. Text 11. Upon the shoulder of one gopi, Krishna placed his arm, whose natural blue lotus fragrance was mixed with that of the sandalwood pulp, anointing it. As the gopi relished that fragrance, her bodily hair stood on end in jubilation, and she kissed his arm. Text 12. Next to Krishna's cheek, one gopi put her own, beautified by the effulgence of her earrings, which glittered as she danced. Krishna then carefully gave her the betel nut he was chewing. Text 13. Another gopi became fatigued as she danced and sang, the bells on her ankles and waist tingling. So she placed upon her breast the comforting lotus hand of Lord Achyuta, who was standing by her side. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, thank you so much, Vidya Mataji, for reading the translations. This is helpful for us to get an overview of the section before the overview we hear. Thank you. Yeah, Chetan Chandra Prabhuji, Hare Krishna, please accept my obeisance, Prabhu. All goes to Sri Prabhupada. Yeah, when you're ready, you can start, Prabhuji.
Sure. Thank you so much, Indran Prabhu, for giving me this opportunity to discuss some Krishna Katha. Thank you, dear Vidya Maharaj Mataji, for reading these wonderful translations. I'm going to start by offering my prayers. Om Kyantimirandasya Jnananjana Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurve Namaha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharane Nirvishedavadi Pashat Deshatharane जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवास आदि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे मुखं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुदीन तारणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्य ईश्वरम् Hare Krishna, dear devotees. So to continue reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, and today we'll be discussing chapter 3 entitled The Rasa Dance. So far in this discussion, we've seen the build up to this particular wonderful event that takes place in Srimad Bhagavatam. And we've seen how initially the gopis met Lord Krishna in the forest. Seeing a hint of pride in them, Lord Krishna leaves that place, and how the gopis surrender to Krishna, remembering his pastimes, and so beautifully, singing this wonderful Gopi Geet, they attract Lord Krishna back to them in the particular this episode. And then when Lord Krishna comes back, he assures them that he is going to be with them and going to fulfill their desires, and that is where this chapter now begins. So in the beginning, we see that Shukdev Goswami says, "Itam Bhagavato Gopya." The Bhagwan, our Bhagwan Shri Krishna, is talking to the gopis, and Shutva Vacha Shu Peshna. When they heard the wonderful words, the eloquent words spoken by our Sri Krishna, the gopis forgot their distress that was caused by separation from him. Initially, they were very distressed because they had left everything in their world to come and meet Sri Krishna. And then he had left, but now that he came back, they forgot all the distress that they had gone through. This also reminds us that sometimes in life, when we go through difficult circumstances, we may feel and we may question, where is God? Where is Krishna? I've done so much for him. Where is he? He has left me. But this also reminds us that actually the Lord never leaves us. Srila Prabhupada always used to say, Avashya Rakhibe Krishna. That we should have this faith that, sometimes it may feel like that when you're going through difficult circumstances that Krishna is not with us, but you should understand that Krishna is always there, always orchestrating and always trying to facilitate our lives in such a way so that we may get closer and closer to him, and he will definitely always protect us. So in this particular way, the gopis were also satisfied seeing hearing from Lord Krishna the wonderful words. Then next what happens? Tatrarbhata Govindo Rasa Kridam Anuvrate. So this Rasa Krida, this wonderful dance of this Rasa dance now is going to begin to take place where on the banks of Mother Yamuna. And in the companies of the jewels of monk women. Sri Ratner, the most perfect, the most fortunate maidens of this entire universe, are now going to participate in this exchange of this highest mellow that is there in devotional service of Madhuri Ras that takes place in this Rasa dance. Um, the faithful gopis who joyfully link their arms together. Now, when I was reflecting on this, we I I looked up some because I've always been intrigued with this concept of the different mellows that they're there in devotional service. And we understand from Sri Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu of the 5 different mellows: Shantaras, Dasyaras, Sakyaras, Vatsalyaras, and Madhuryaras. That is devotion in a neutral mood, devotion as a servitor, devotion as a friend, devotion as a maternal love, and last is devotion as a conjugal love. So this particular, and in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, it is also described how each mellow or each rasa expands or adds upon itself from the previous rasas. So from a Shanta rasa, when we develop this inclination towards service of the Lord, then we evolve into Dasya rasa. When we develop this service desire to joke with the Lord, to have fun with the Lord, then we evolve from Dasya to Sakya rasa. Then when we go further beyond that, and now we are concerned about the Lord, we want to protect the Lord, then we evolve into Vatsalya rasa. And then the highest rasa that is described is Madhurya rasa, or the rasa of conjugal love, which is what we are going to see this wonderful exchange in this rasa dance. Now, but it is also in my mind, and something that I learned yesterday when I was researching. I've always had this question that in Srimad Bhagavatam and in general, when we read our scriptures, we see that we see examples of such exemplary devotees who have been there in different rasas. So, in one perspective, we can understand that the Madhurya rasa, the conjugal rasa, that what we are seeing, what we're going to read about now in the rasa dance, is the highest form of rasa. So, comparatively, you can say it's higher than the other rasas. But at the same time, like I said, in my experience, I've seen or I've heard about devotees in Bhagavatam who are in Dasya Rasa or Sakya Rasa, and they're so fully satisfied that they do not want anything else but that particular service. So, is it true that one rasa's experience is higher than the other? So, His Grace Chaitanya Charan Prabhu gave a wonderful analogy to explain this particular concept, which he described that is also another concept in our shastras, which appears as achintya, inconceivable. How one rasa appears higher than the other, at the same time, it is actually same as the other. It is equal to the other. So he gives the analogy, Chaitanya Charan Prabhu, like I explained the different gradation of the 5 rasas, that, for example, that there are 5 pots. One pot is of a liter, second pot is of 2 liters, third pot may be of 3 liters, fourth pot is 4 liters, fifth pot is 5 liters. So when you fill all these 5 pots to the brim, for each individual pot, when it is filled to the brim, that particular pot has reached its capacity. It has reached its perfection. It is doing everything that it can, and there is nothing more for it to be done. But externally, objectively, if you look at it, you may think, oh, the 5-liter pot is actually holding more, is more deeper than the 4-liter pot. And the 4-liter pot is more deeper than the 3-liter pot. So externally, it may feel that particular bhav holding more rasa than another bhav that is there in this gradation. But as far as that individual pot is concerned, as far as that individual jivatma is concerned, the rasa that it naturally goes through, that it naturally experiences, if it is suffice and fully surrendered in that particular rasa, then that is the perfection of life. The next question Chaitanya Charan Prabhu answers is, so does it mean that the devotees who are there in Madhurya Rasa are more pleasing to Krishna than devotees who are in Dasya Rasa? He explains also wonderfully that actually Krishna is perfect. So the devotees who are in Madhurya Rasa, they experience the perfect bliss of pleasing Krishna in Madhurya Rasa. But those devotees who are in Dasya Rasa or Sakya, they are optimally serving in that particular mood, in that particular rasa, then those devotees also enjoy the satisfaction, the same satisfaction that devotees are enjoying in Madhurya rasa, and Krishna also getting the same satisfaction from them because he is complete and perfect. So in this particular way, we realize that what we're going to read about next is the highest form of, in one sense, it is the highest form of rasa, or devotional mellow, we talk about and we hear from in our Shastras, in Srimad Bhagavatam. In fact, this is the rasa that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, shared with the world for the one of the first times of this deep conjugal love, that the mood of the gopis, the mood of Srimati Radharani towards Krishna, and this is what he came to teach us in this world. But even then, even in Chaitanya Charitamrita, even through the descriptions of Chaitanya Charitamrita, we see he met so many devotees who were so obsessed with rasas that he encouraged them to continue that particular rasa and perfect their lives. So, but it's most important that we continue in the rasa and move. So, in this particular way, when we read through this rasa dance, we will see that the Krishna, who's Rasa Bihari, he is Rasaraj, he is the king of all rasas. He accepts the different mellows, the different devotional moods of the different devotees who approach him in with different inclinations. But at the same time, we understand from a different objective view that this exchange that is there, that we're going to exhibit, that after we've read the 9 cantos of Srimad Bhagavatam, we are being introduced to this particular highest mellow, is a wonderful exchange that is happening. So I hope that helps and clarify where Madhurya Rasa stands and compared to the other rasas that one may experience. And in that particular mood, we can appreciate this Rasa Leela dance. So in the next two shlokas, in text 3 and 4, it is said that this rasa dance now begins to is started. And how it starts, that the gopis are all dancing in a circle, and Lord Krishna is in the center of the circle, and to increase the mood of the rasa, expands into many different forms of Krishna. So each gopi, it is said that between two gopis there is one Krishna. Uh, and between two Krishnas, there is one gopi. So it is Krishna is like standing alternate to each gopi. But the gopis who are, under the influence of the Yoga Maya, because they, to enhance the mood of the Rasa dance, they feel that Krishna is only dancing with me. Krishna is only standing next to me. Krishna is only there. So that they can fully exhibit this mood of Madhurya, of loving exchange with the Lord. But how do we know that there were many other Krishnas also? Krishna had expanded in so many different forms. It is said that the denizens of the heavenly planets who wanted to experience or witness this highest exchange of devotional love, who had come and gathered in the airplanes in the sky, when they were looking down, they could see that, oh, there are so many Krishnas dancing with so many gopis. And in this particular way, we realize that this is not an ordinary Leela, right? So oftentimes, we see things in this material world, we have a material perspective towards seeing things. And Srila Prabhupada comments on this in the Krishna book, in this particular pastime, that it is very important for us to understand that this Leela, that this particular Leela that is taking place, or any of Lord Krishna's Leela for that matter, is not in an ordinary platform. And we understand this also from the mood of the Vrajvasis. His Holiness Sri Radha Govind Maharaj, he was explaining this in such a wonderful way that when Lord Krishna, he came to Vrindavan, and as a child he did wonderful pastimes and he delivered so many demons. He was not really here to do that. That was not his business. He did not go and fight the demons. He explains so wonderfully that when Putana came in to give poison to Lord Krishna, and Lord Krishna, seeing the tint of motherly affection for a second that she had for him, that she wanted Lord Krishna to also enjoy her breast milk. Lord Krishna only accepts that and then starts drinking her milk. And then now all of a sudden, Putana, she becomes afraid of her life and she takes this gigantic form. And His Holiness Radha Govind Maharaj explains that now Lord Krishna, this baby Krishna, is on top of this gigantic woman who's up in the sky. and Lord Krishna is looking down and getting scared that I may fall down, and he's holding tightly to Putana and her breast. Now, when he's holding tightly to Putana and the breast, that is enough to deliver Putana, and she dies. So Maharaj says, so what is Krishna's fault in this? He was not going to kill her. He was only a baby who was scared of falling, and he was holding tightly, and she died. So what is there to blame Krishna in this? So we understand that his leelas are not ordinary. When Indra became angered with the Vrajvasis, and he sends the storm clouds, and then Lord Krishna goes to lift up the Govardhan Parvat. One devotee, when they were making this painting of the Govardhan Leela, they made this painting of a boy with lot of muscles and abs and all, and lifting the Govardhan hill like this. And they showed to Prabhupada that Prabhupada, we made this picture of Krishna. So Prabhupada laughed looking at the picture. Prabhupada said that no, Krishna doesn't have to have muscles. Like we think in this world, when we have to lift some heavy box or some luggage or something, then we have to really employ all our energies, all our muscles start flexing. And but Krishna, he just comes, lifts up the Govardhan hill with his small little pinky finger, and he stands under it and gives shelter to the devotees. It is not like when Govardhan Leela is going to come, our Krishna is going to the gym for 1 month and getting ready for lifting Govardhan. No, his Leela, his pastimes are Divya. If we do not understand this, if we do not appreciate that, then we will get stuck. We will not be able to enjoy this or appreciate these higher rasas and these pastimes. And then we'll be in punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam in this particular cycle. But if we understand that Lord Krishna, he is so wonderful, he doesn't go to kill Kaliya. If we say there's a big snake in our garden, we have to go. We will go all prepared with weapon and something to make sure the snake doesn't hurt us. But when Lord Krishna had to go deliver Kaliya, he twisted his waistcloth, goes in and starts dancing. He's not trying to kill Kaliya, but he's dancing and he's enjoying. He's the Natavar. He's Vrindavan Natavar. He's the expert dancer in Vrindavan. So in this particular way, his activities are not ordinary. So if we understand that Janma Karma Chame Devyam Evam Yo Veti Tatvata Takta Deha Punarjanma Naiti Mameti So Arjuna, that will not take birth again if we understand that his leelas, including all the leelas that I described, including this wonderful rasa dance that is happening, is something that is eternal, spiritual, and very, very different from the material conceptions that we may have. So goes on to describe that in 5, 6, and 7, that how the wonderful atmosphere was being created, how the gopis were dancing, and there was such tumult, there were such wonderful sounds from the ankle bells, waist bells, and the amulets, and they were dancing for the pleasure of Sri Krishna, who was in the center of the circle. And it was described that it appeared so beautiful that just like there we see some golden ornament is there, and usually in a golden necklace there may be like a centerpiece of emerald or sapphire. So in that particular way, it just appeared that there is such a beautiful ornament of the gopis, and in the center is our beautiful Sri Krishna. In text 7, again goes on to describe how the gopis were so wonderfully dancing for the pleasure of Sri Krishna. It is said in the description that is given that it just appeared that Lord Krishna and his limbs, the different forms of Krishna that were there, appeared like the different rain clouds. And in the rain clouds, the singing of the gopis appeared like thunders, the beautiful thunder that we see, lightning. And the perspiration on the face of the gopis from dancing so jubilantly for the pleasure of Krishna, that perspiration appeared just like drops of rainwater or drops of snow. So it created a very wonderful, picturesque scene. Now, this point of dancing for the pleasure of Krishna is something that our acharyas have also taught us in several different instances. So we see that Sri Tulsidas, when he wrote his prayers called the Vinay Patrika, in this particular prayer, Tulsidas ji also prays to the Lord that, Lord, I have spent my whole life dancing to the tunes of Maya Devi. Now, I please want you, I beg you, please take the reins of my life, and please make me dance as you please. In similar way, in September of 1965, when our dearmost His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada arrived at the Boston Harbor, he wrote a beautiful prayer called the Markine Bhagavad Dharma prayer. In the last two stanzas of this Markine Bhagavad Dharma prayer, Srila Prabhupada plays Aniyacho Jati Prabhu Amare Nachate Nachao Nachao Prabhu Nachao Se Mate Kashtera Putali Jatha Nachao Se Mate. Oh Lord, I am just like a puppet in your hands. So if you have brought me here to dance, then make me dance, O Lord. Make me dance as you like. Goes on to pray, Bhakti nai bed nai, naame khub daro. Bhakti Vedanta naam eve sarthak karo. I have no devotion, nor do I have any knowledge, but I have strong faith in the holy name of Krishna. I have been designated as Bhakti Vedanta, and now, if you like, you can fulfill the real purport of Bhakti Vedanta. So we see how even our Demo Srila Prabhupada also prays to just be an instrument in the hands of Krishna, to be an instrument not for our own pleasure, not for our own plans, but for the pleasure to dance for Sri Krishna. In Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Leela 5.142, Krishnadas Kaviraj also writes, Ekale Ishware Krishna Arasa Bhabretya Yare Yaiche Nachaya Se Taiche Kare Nitya. Lord Krishna alone is the supreme controller, and all others are his servants. Arasa Bhabretya. They dance as he makes them do so. So in this particular way, we see that our acharyas have taught us how wonderfully we can serve or be engaged in the pleasure of Sri Krishna and turn our life into tuning into his frequency and dancing for his pleasure. Just like in this particular Ras dance, we see how the wonderful gopis are exhibiting or this pastime of Madhurya Ras and dancing for the pleasure of our Sri Krishna. In text 8 and 9, it is described that Krishna is very pleased with the gopis. They are singing in beautiful tunes for him, in different meters for him. And the two devotees that Lord Krishna is praising in this particular verse, our acharyas describe are Sri Lalita Devi and Sri Vishakha Devi. In text 10 and 11 describe that one of the gopis now, gets in gets into a very deep, affectionate relationship with Krishna. And now she's putting her hand on Krishna, and with dancing so much, her bracelets and flowers have become loose. And our acharyas describe that this is actually none other than our Srimati Radharani, who's being described, who's exchanging such wonderful pastimes. It also brings me back to this one of the point that His Grace Chaitanya Charan Prabhu mentioned, that when we see devotees in different rasas, or even within the Madhurya rasa, we see so many gopis are wanting to enjoy this wonderful rasa or please Lord Krishna with this wonderful rasa. Even then, they all know that their business is to please Krishna. So they understand that the person who can give most pleasure to Lord Krishna is Srimati Radharani. So when they see Radha and Krishna together, their hearts are fully satisfied and they feel that they've reached the perfection of their life. It is not they feel that, oh, if I could be in place of Srimati Radharani and serve Krishna, then I would be happy. No, their happiness, the pinnacle of their happiness is seeing Radha and Krishna together. And that is the bhav, the Manjari bhav that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has taught us. In text 10 to 13, it goes on to describe the wonderful friendly dealings that Lord Krishna has with his devotees and how he exchanges such personal pastimes with the devotees in Madhurya Ras. With this brief description, although I'm not qualified to share, but still just wanted to repeat what I've heard from our senior Vaishnavas, and for my own purification. We've shared something, and we'll hear from some other amazing devotees this week about this wonderful description of the Rastras. With this, I'll end our discussion today. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Panchakalpatarubhya, Kripa Sindhu Bhavecha, Patitanam Pavanebhyo, Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Hare Krishna.
Thank
Hare
you very
Krishna.
much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna,
Oh, wait.
Prabhuji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much, Chaitanya Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.